Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Henna. My channel is Handcrafted by Henna. I just started doing this kind of thing, so I apologize if I stumble over my words a little bit. So I am starting my own crochet business, I guess if you call it. Right now it's a hobby because I work a 9 to 5 and I'm a little bad at time management. But recently I just kind of nosedived into it and I decided to go to 2 markets after stocking up on stuff that I've made since I started and, you know, once I started getting better. The first one I went to was a lot better than the second one. The first one, the weather was okay. It could have been nicer, and then it started pouring at the end, so, you know. The second one wasn't really that good. We were told that it was supposed to rain all day, so there wasn't really a lot of foot traffic. I even went up to the other vendors, crochet vendors included, and they said it was pretty slow that year. And that one's about an hour away, so I'm not really sure if I'll do that one again, because, you know, it's an hour away, and it wasn't really that good, even if it was just the weather. So, anyway, I do have a list of everything that I made and how much I made, what sold, etc. Some of these patterns from when I first started, so I honestly couldn't tell you where I got them from, but most of the things that I did sell were things from crocheters who I just bought their pattern off of Etsy or saw it off of YouTube, so I'll make sure to link everybody. So without further ado, let's get into it. Firstly, we'll start off at the one that I did a lot better, my first one. So firstly, I made those mushroom poppet toys. Kids love those. Those are a really good seller with kids. I would make sure to have one not popped on display and then one popped on display and then let the kids know, hey, it's a fidget toy. That's usually a really good selling point for them. I made 30, I sold 23. I also made these little mushroom guys. They didn't do that good. I was kind of surprised. I started with 10. I did give one to my friend's little brother. So then I had these whales, adorable pattern, and they were so quick to make. I sold all 6 of them. I did make 6 of them. I sold all 6. Then I made a smaller version in a keychain form. It's not the same pattern. It's a completely different pattern. I made 24 of those. I only sold 4. I feel like keychains are like a hit or miss with some people. Well, with a lot of people. I made Leggy Frogs. I made 12 of them. I sold 4 of them. I had these large bees. They're pretty quick to make up as well. The large bees were pretty quick to make up. It took me about like 20-25 minutes to make the bee itself. To sew on the wings, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. It didn't really take that long. I say 10 minutes simply because the wings are smaller and it's a little, not difficult, but it's a little annoying to try to get them to lay flat down or just not be as loose. So I made those. I made small bees for keychains. Again, I don't remember off the top of my head if it was a pattern made by the same person or not, but either way, I'll edit it and you'll know. I sold 4 out of 13 made. I made these, I called them large octopus, I don't know how you pluralize it. I only sold 2 out of 10 that I made. The 2 that I sold were on discount. I was selling them for $6 each. I made those ones for 4 because they were smaller. Same thing with, there were 2 other ones out of the other 8 that was significantly smaller that were marked at 4. So, axolotls. They were so freaking adorable. It took me about 45 minutes, an hour to make each one. I made 6 and I sold all 6 of those. They sold within the first 2 hours of the market, so they're really, really good sellers. Next, the famous Mabel Chicken. I made 18 and I sold 12. I was selling them for $12 each, so I made $144 off of them alone. Now, before you come at me about my prices, I've done my research. I understand that, you know, I might be underselling myself, but you also have to think about what people are actually willing to spend. Even at $12, there were still some people who picked it up, looked at the price, and put it down and walked away. So it is what it is. I also made these cows. Adorable, but they took forever. I hate sewing. It's a lot of sewing involved. You have to make the head separately, the ears separately, the horns, the snout, so you have to sew them all into the head, and then you have to sew the head onto the body. So it takes a little while, but I only sold 3 out of 10 made. I made 3 cookie cows, 3 blueberry ones, 3 mushroom ones, and I only had time for 1 strawberry one. I sold the strawberry, 1 of the cookie ones, and 1 of the mushroom ones. Next, I made these jellyfish. I sold 3 out of the 4 of them, so they sold pretty good. I sold those for $15 each. And then there's this large squid. I didn't sell him at the spring fling. I was selling him for $30, $35, I don't remember. But, you know, nobody really looked at him either. He was just kind of all on his lonesome. Next, I made these small squids. They're super fun to make, and they have 10 tentacles, and they take a little while because it's like chain 17 and then single increase down. It takes about an hour and a half to finish one of them, but they're so fun to make, and they're adorable too. I sold 5 out of 10 of them, which is pretty good. Next, I made these large turtles. I do remember who made the pattern off the top of my head. It is Crochet by Jenna. I love her stuff. Her stuff is adorable. So I would also recommend go checking out her videos. She makes fantastic tutorials, great patterns, all that stuff. And then lastly, I made small turtles, which again was a pattern by Jenna. I sold 3 out of 4 of those, so they did pretty good. Hey, so I just finished my clip for my spring fling, and I realized after I was calculating the totals, I don't remember off the top of my head, a lot of the stuff, because it was about 2 weeks ago. I obviously know which ones I sold and for how much, but I also changed the prices between the spring fling and the second market, so honestly, I'm not sure. All I do remember, though, is that I made a total of $805 at the spring fling. I only remember that number specifically because, oh, I did also have $81 on Venmo, so Venmo is a good option as well, especially when you're starting, when you only do cash, because using a card reader, you have to get a business license, or not a business license, like business insurance and all that stuff, and I really didn't want to do that. So, anyway, so a total of $105. I remember that because I was, like, girl mathing my stuff. So I figured about $700-ish for display stuff and yarn and all that. And then it was a $75 entry fee. And then I just kind of like rounded it up to $800 just in case there were expenditures I wasn't really thinking of. And then, you know, after everything, I found out that I was $5 out of the hole, which might not seem very good to a lot of people. But when you start a business, your first year or so's usually in the red because you're spending so much to invest in your business. So now I have all this display stuff that I can use in the future. So I'm not really losing out on anything except for yarn, which actually I just started getting ready for the fall festival hosted by the same people who did the spring fling. I spent like $400 on yarn. I'm really like OCD about my yarn, so then I need to get like a whole new shipment for stuff specifically for this market. So yeah. But yeah, for some reason I can't seem to do math correctly. But yeah, anyway, on to the Pine Grove one. So Pine Grove was the other one. This one didn't do that well. Again, something with the weather. It's whatever. So for the poppets, I went back up to 30 in total of what I had in stock. So I sold 23, so I made another 23. I only sold 5. The mushroom guys, I didn't sell any of them. The large whales, I did sell 2 out of the 6 of them. So they still did pretty good despite it being slow. Leggy Frogs, didn't sell any of them. Nobody really, I mean, the only time people really noticed them was the fact that it was in this carnival cupcake display thing that I have. But that's literally it. Large bees, I only sold 1 out of 8 of them, even though I nearly sold out at the Pine Grove, or at Spring Fling, but it's whatever. Axolotls, I sold 3 out of 6 of them. So again, axolotls are very, very great sellers, especially with kids. Mabel the Chicken, only sold 2 out of 12 of them. Those cows, I sold 2 out of 7 of them. I sold a cookie one and a blueberry one. I don't remember. It's either the blueberry or the mushroom. Jellyfish, I didn't sell any of them. The small squids, I sold 1 out of 5. I didn't make any. No, that's a lie. I made 2 more. So 1 out of 7 of them. I made 2 more because that's all I had the time for. Small turtles, I made 1 afterwards. So I sold 1 out of 4. And the one that I made while I was there was the one that sold. The small whales, the keychain whales, I only sold 1 out of 20 of those. Didn't sell any more of the small bees, or any more of the small octopi. Which, speaking of, I forgot to mention, the spring fling. A little girl stole one of the octopi keychains. I didn't realize till as she was walking away, and I didn't say anything because I've worked in customer service for 2 years, and I just didn't want to deal with it. It was a $3 keychain. She bought a $20 cow, and her friend bought a $15 turtle. They decided to take a $3 item. Whatever. I saw it on her backpack. And before anybody says, oh, well, there were other crochet vendors, it could have been them. It was the exact same shade as all the other ones that I had in that color. Exact same size. And I looked at most of the other crochet vendors. None of them really had keychains. There was one that had, axolotl keychains. So, but either way. So, the prices for them are the same. I made $173 from the Pine Grove one. Not nearly as good as the Spring Fling, but you live and you learn. I got a $55 sale on Venmo. It was one person. My boyfriend actually took care of that because I walked away with my mom to go get food. So I spent $62. This is all money that I took out of my change box, so including my sales. I spent $62 on food. I spent, or not 62, Jesus. I spent $62 on food and other vendor items, such as there was a crochet banana that I got, and picture frames and stuff. And that was about it. My mom borrowed $50 from me and then Venmoed me back another $50. So I made $173. I used 62 of them, so I only had like $111 left. But at least I was in the green. So total, my best sellers were the axolotls with 9 out of 12 of them. The poppets, which is 28 out of 53 of them. The large whales, 8 out of 12. The large bees, 9 out of 16. Mabel the Chicken, 14 out of 24. And the small squids. I recommend using more patterned yarns when it comes to these squids. That seemed to be what people generally went towards. The only solid color squid that somebody went for was a yellow one. Nobody really wanted the gray or the purples, or there was one powder blue one sold, but people weren't really interested in them. So anyway, that's the end of it. I do recommend doing your research on just things that sell in general. Again, the poppets, axolotls, Mabel the Chicken, whales, and squids. That's personally what I had sell pretty well. But I would go ahead and watch other vlogs and, you know, do your own research with that kind of stuff. And always, always, always set your expectations lower than what you think you will sell. I was terrified for the spring fling. It was my first ever market. I was scared I wasn't going to sell anything. And I nearly sold out of half of my, or not half, like of a couple of my things. Pine Grove, however, I did set my expectations up a little higher. I did bump up a couple of my prices. I'm not sure if that really affected many of my sales. But you know, I was a little upset afterwards, so that's why you just set your expectations lower, because stuff like that can just happen. Anyway, again, I apologize if this is kind of like all over the place. I'm not really good at public speaking, and I'm just new at this. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Oh, before I forget, I am, like I said earlier, I am participating in the fall event, that the same people who hosted the spring fling is. I'm going to be doing both fall and Halloween things, because it is in early September. Actually, one of the things I'm making is this little ghost with a candy corn hat. There's also an option for a cowboy hat and a witch's hat. Look how cute he is. Look how cute he is. And since I'm learning the pattern, it took me about 2 hours to make both the hat and the ghost. After I learned the pattern, I could probably knock it down to about an hour, hour and a half. They're so cute though, and it is a really, really easy pattern. I even recommend this for beginners. There's no special stitches other than these bobbles, but that's 5 double crochets in 1 stitch. That's all it is. But isn't he freaking adorable? I don't know how much I want to sell this guy for, honestly. I'm going to make a couple with the cowboy hat and the witch's hat as well. I will also link that pattern down in the description. I did buy it off of Etsy. But yeah, help me price this guy. And let me know if there's anything I can work on with my videos, my deliveries on things, advice, stuff like that. Also, before I forget, I did want to make an Etsy. I'm a little scared about doing that because I know you can control how many orders and stuff you get, like, per week. But I'm worried that with my 9 to 5, I'm not going to be able to find the time to do that. But I do still have a bunch of stuff from Pine Grove. I mean, you guys heard me. I really didn't sell that much from Pine Grove, so I still have quite a bit. So I might put them up for sale on Pine Grove, or on Etsy. So be on the lookout for that. If I do decide to do that, I will link my Etsy in the description. If you don't see anything uploaded yet, it's probably because I got distracted with something else. But I do plan on posting them. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And thank you for watching.